G'day, how you going? Right, this is a video is a bit different, as you can tell by the title. I'm going to talk about my mental health situation, and I'm doing this because people have reached out to me and talked to me about some of their problems, and I thought it'd be a good idea to put it out there of what I go through, and in the hope that it'll help somebody. So if you're not interested, by all means switch off. Some of the content I'm going to talk about, because I don't really know what I'm going to talk about. I know what I'm going to talk about, but I don't know how much detail I'll go into, because some of it can be pretty traumatic. And so I warn you now that there may be some of that. So if you're likely to be upset over that sort of thing, I think maybe you should give this video a miss. Or if you do decide to watch it, that you are aware that if you start feeling triggered, switch it off. Just switch it off. I'm not going to jump through the TV screen and beat you up for switching it off. You know, it's going to be fine. I'm okay with it. This is therapy for myself, and it may help some people who need to hear what other people go through, so they understand where they're at. Anyway, first of all, I'd like to start off with because I used to write a lot of poetry, and funny, you wouldn't think so, would you? No, I didn't. Yeah, I used to write stories too. I've stopped now, but I don't know. I don't know why. I should keep going, but I've got a little blog that they're all kept on. So anyway, I'll just read you this story. The silence was eerie, no wind, no sound of any kind. As I walked along the pathway, my footsteps interrupted the silence of the evening. It was as though each step taken had increased in volume, creating a shattering noise that echoed as the final rays of daylight faded and the stars, glisteningly brightly, took centre stage. I stopped to listen for any other noise. I could hear my heart pounding as blood pumped its way through my body. My breathing became rapid as I took a step forward and heard the crunch underfoot. The moonlight made silhouettes of my surroundings. I could see shadows of various things. Another step forward and the dry leaves crumbled once more under my boot. I stood there in the moonlight, sweat beading, then trickling down my face. "Listen, just listen," said the silence. Eerie, isn't it? Amazing. Now, I don't know when my mental health issues really started. You're just going to have to put up with me keep having a drink, because I've done this, tried to start this a few times, and I keep getting a cough. I don't know whether it's the stress of what I'm doing or what, but just bear with me. And I don't really want to edit it, because then you get to see all the. It's raw and it's honest. It's that sort of. I want to keep it like that, because I think that's important. It's important for me. You know, you watch some videos where they've edited things out, and you sort of you question whether it's actually right or it's wrong. Anyway, let's go. I'll get some of the nasty stuff out of the way. Right, for those of you, even my family, actually the only person in my family that knows anything about this bit I'm going to tell you is Karen. That's my wife at the moment. And I only told her, I think it was last year, that I'd been sexually assaulted when I was 19, in a pub toilet. It was an outside toilet, and it was not a very pleasant experience. Fortunately, before anything serious could happen, somebody came in and I was able to get away. So And I haven't talked about that. So I was 19, so you're talking 41 years, 44 years, 43 years. I haven't spoken about it. It's amazing what you keep hidden, eh? Anyway, alright, let's get into it. Because mental health is become one of the biggest problems in today's society. When I was growing up, you didn't talk about it. To a certain extent, you still don't. And although it's both males and females suffer from it, a lot of the time it's men who don't are the worst for not talking about it, not getting it off their chest, and for various reasons: embarrassment, the stigma that goes with it, and the it's almost like it takes away your masculinity. Well, it doesn't really, but that's the way a lot of people look at it. So yeah, because I'm doing this dodgily, like live sort of, I'm going to go scroll through things. Anyway, basically back in when I first noticed that I really started to question what sort of problems I had was when my first marriage broke up, and that was in 1999. I found out later that I'd been suffering from depression and anxiety all my life. But the main one was when my first marriage broke up, and I found things that had been happening that I didn't realise had been going on, and it was really weird sort of feeling. I ended up getting depressed and was put on antidepressants, things like that, and I just basically plodded along trying to get over things and deal with things, and there wasn't much help around, and even today there still isn't. I live in New Zealand. This was in Australia at the time. I live in New Zealand now, and when my second marriage broke up, and yeah, it was the same sort of things. You go through all sorts. Anyway, basically, during my second marriage, I had a serious injury. Nothing it was physical, but it wasn't like a cut off my arm or anything like that. I had nerve damage in my right arm, which has sprung up again and given me a bit of grief. I got a shoulder problem and all sorts but it was a work injury, and that's when I started suffering from being bullied and being accused of faking it and all the rest of it. Anyway, I struggled then. I didn't realise to what extent until I got my second divorce, moved over to New Zealand, left my second wife, found Karen, and we shared the same anxiety, same depressions, same mental health issues, and she was somebody I could talk to and talk about what was going through my head. But during my work injury, I met a psychologist, and I have seen, I can't even remember how many counsellors, psychologists. I've seen 2 psychiatrists. I lose count of, and I get a bit frustrated when I meet a new counsellor because half the time I don't think they really know what they're doing. They've read a book and think they know everything about mental health issues. Anyway, this guy, this psychologist, he always put me last on his list, and he was really good. He taught me a lot about how my anxiety had been built up over the years, and it probably started when I was just a little kid, especially being a Catholic back in the day. Um, and we talked about, and I'd been going through things like when my mum died in '84, my dad died in '89. I'd been questioning how I'd been brought up as a Catholic, and is there a God and all those sorts of things. And the more I questioned it, the more I got pushed aside. You're talking shit, you're a conspiracy theorist and all the rest of it. But I was just like simple things, And when I was talking to this psychologist, although it was supposed to be for a work injury, he took an overall picture of my life. He wanted to know all the other bits and pieces that came together to create this moment that I was in. Not the injury, but the mental state. Um, and he said things like, well, isn't people telling you that if you do something wrong, you are going to go to this place where you're going to burn for all eternity? There's a form of bullying. Well, when you think about it, yeah, it could be. Could be classified as that, It's making threats that if you don't do this and you don't do that, there's a man up in the sky who's going to come down. I don't want to get into the religious side of it. I'm just trying to point out a way of looking at how this manipulation happens, and you don't even know it. Anyway, getting back to it, at work I was given tasks. I was micromanaged, and I've forgotten what the correct term, but it's selective dismissal or something it's called, where a company deliberately puts you in positions where you make mistakes, or puts you in a position where it looks like you're not doing your job properly and things like that, and then that way they can get rid of you. And I ended up having a good team around me at the time, with my nerve specialist, my doctor, and my psychologist, and I finally left there. And it was a good feeling to leave there, but the damage mentally had already been done. Anyway, moved over to New Zealand, left my second wife, got together with Karen, and we carried on our journey, and I got another job. I worked in security, and for somebody with mental health issues, security is not the best. I've been spat at, punched, hit, sworn at. I got shot at once, but the shot wasn't meant for me. I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it wasn't. It was in my general direction, but nowhere near me, if you know what I mean. But I sort of enjoyed that, not the bad stuff, but I did enjoy it. But then you got the same thing. People didn't care. People would steal things, and it was you can't touch me. And in today's world, we're getting it all the time. You see it on the TV. They're just going to shops and take things. And so that was doing my head in. Then I changed from security, not from doing mall security to just the store security. And I started reporting things and stuff like that. And things weren't right. There was dodgy dealings going on. I was reporting it, and it worked out that all of a sudden I was being micromanaged again, and it got that bad that one day I just called up Karen to come and pick me up, and collapsed in the car, and that was the end of me. My working career had finished. That was in 2014. So that was 10 years ago. So I haven't been able to work since. And then we had COVID. And during COVID, on, what was it, New Year's Eve, 2020, my brother died. He died of cancer. him and I got on really well, but they were in Australia and I was over here. 6 months later, my mate Big John died. A few months after that, I think it was about 3 months after that, his dad, Big John's dad, died. And he treated me like a son. So I lost 3 people. We were in COVID, lockdowns and all the rest of it. Didn't get to say goodbye, didn't get nothing. And then in 2022, 2 weeks before Christmas, a good mate of mine from when I was at school, he died of cancer 2 weeks before Christmas. Christmas Day, an ex-girlfriend who I stayed in contact with died on Christmas Day. Yeah, so there's a lot happening. There's a lot of other things too that go on that do your head. And then while I was over here, and the problems I've had with the with WINZ, Work and Income New Zealand it's called, and it's where you get your benefit from. The doctor put me on a supported living benefit, and I'd obviously, because I'd been very good at putting money aside for a rainy day, like your superannuation and things like that. I wasn't getting I had to use a lot of my super before I could get a benefit, which is fucking ridiculous, but that's the way it was. Anyway, we survived that, and I got very lucky when I met Karen, because we look after each other really well. We understand each other pretty much. We know what each other's going through. And one of the things we've been talking about, especially just lately, is that one of the reasons we get close to people is because they're going through the same things we are, and we understand what they're going through, so then they become part of our family, not only the part of the Leeds family, but part of the mental health issues family, and so we've sort of like got to stick together. One of the things that I found is I can't work in groups with people. There's too many fucking dickheads, and I'm not talking about their mental health issues. There's too many rules and regulations when you're in a group. Like, you've got to do this and you've got to do that, and my biggest issues now, because of all the bullying and the people that were doing the bullying were the people that were supposed to be looking after you and preventing the bullying, like your human relations people, your managers, your supervisors, and all that sort of stuff. So it became, now I have problems with authoritative people. I don't go out of my way to be I'm not disrespectful or anything like that. I don't go out of my way, but they do my fucking head in, I tell you. So when I see counsellors and that, I prefer a one-on-one, where I've got a little bit of control over what's going on. Because that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. Yeah, can't handle. I mean, even what happened over here was during COVID. I was in the. Oh, there was another thing too, because I can't wear a mask, because that does my head in. I go ballistic. And obviously, with all the rules and regulations, you had to have a certificate from your doctor, which I had. An exemption card, which I got, and it was I go into this supermarket over here, and it was a good supermarket. They've closed it down now. I don't know why, because it was really nice to go in there and talk to the people and all the rest of it. Oh, but they got shoplifters like it was going out of fashion. You know, they just come in, grab what they want, and walk straight out. You know, trolley load. And I overheard a police officer talking about, oh, we're not going to come out anymore, so don't bother calling us. And you don't understand what these people are going through. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, what the fuck? They don't know what they're going through. And it was that particular incident that actually triggered my memory of being sexually assaulted. And it brought it all back. I've fucking been beaten up. I've been sexually assaulted. But I haven't gone out and committed crimes or used it as an excuse to commit crimes, to do drugs, to abuse alcohol. No, I've never done any of that. It just wound me up. But then again, it brought up something that I thought I'd forgotten. But you never forget. Your mind just puts it in the back drawer and hopes you never open the closet. Because that's the way it is, eh? Yeah. The worst bit now for me and for Karen is that our mental health issues have not been fixed. They keep doing a band-aid job on them. When you go to see a counsellor, Karen's seeing a therapist at the moment, but all they seem to do is a band-aid job. Whereas they get you settled, they calm you down, and you're okay to get back into the world again until the next hiccup. Problem with, and I'll speak for just myself, but I know Karen's the same way. You become a bit like an alcoholic with your mental health issues. When you get stressed, you don't know you're stressed. So it becomes normal. It becomes normal to not want to get out of bed. It becomes normal to feel a particular way. It feels normal to be angry. It feels normal to be depressed, anxious. It's like they say on a scale to 1 to 10, how are you feeling today? How do you think your stress levels are? And you'd say about a 5, right? Now for me, that'd be a 15. And that'd be normal. That'd be normal. So when they sit there and say, well, what you need to do is you need to breathe. Breathe in, hold for 5 seconds. I'm at the max. I'm over the max. Then I'm at the point of no return by the time I realise how stressed I am. And they don't come up with anything else. Yeah, but that's the frustrating thing for me. I'm not saying that sort of thing doesn't help others. It does. And it will. Especially if you catch it early. But I think a lot of people who suffer serious mental health issues are being treated. I've always been treated the same, you know. They read a book, these counsellors or psychologists, and they treat everybody the same. Everybody's not the same. Everybody has different triggers. Everybody has different outlooks on life and the way they look at it. The important thing to do is to find someone who understands what you're going through and talk to them. And they're very few and far between, because people have trust issues. And the reason they have trust issues is because they've been injured, destroyed by whatever's going on around them. What is it? One of my friends, well, she's a bit like a daughter to me, Evie. You know, she summed it up. Functioning depressed person. That's what a lot of people are becoming. The way they feel is becoming normalised. And the way we're going to fix it is we're going to give you these tablets. And you notice with these tablets, they have the same side effects. Could possibly cause a dry mouth, diarrhea, irritating eyes, do not take with alcohol, do not do this, do not drive, may cause sleepiness. All these drugs do the same things. I'm not saying don't take them, you know, if your doctor prescribes them and maybe they work. I mean, I had, when I was on the antidepressants, I don't know how many, I tried heaps of different ones, and none of them worked. But one, I've forgotten what it was called. Aperol, something like that. Anyway, it actually, I had one, and it was like I was buzzing. I was angry with everything. You know, I was angry with the light switch on the wall, stuff like that. Anyway, I think I've rambled on enough. I'm trying to think of what else I want to say. I don't have all the answers. The only thing you can do is find somebody you can talk to. Find somebody who you trust enough to share little things. And for those of you that want to help, all you need to do is listen. Yeah, listen to the silence. It's weird, isn't it? I knew there was a lot of people around in the world that had mental health issues, but I didn't realise how many. And how many were actually close to home. There's a lot of people with a lot of issues, and society's got a lot to answer for. Anyway, I'm still waiting to get some help. I just want to feel normal again. And I don't know if I'll ever get that before I die. But I've got my YouTube channel. I've got the Leeds United community. I've got a beautiful wife. Got a beautiful dog, beautiful home. Yeah, it sounds like a Talking Heads song. Where is my beautiful wife? Where is my beautiful house? Where is my beautiful dog? Yeah. Anyway, I think I've rambled on for long enough. Yeah. Well, that was fucking depressing, wasn't it? Anyway, now you know a little bit about me. So if I ever ask you how you are, you can tell me. Because you know what I've been through. And that's not half of it. Doesn't come close. On a lighter note, because I always like to leave these things. Does any of you know how the river dance ever started? No? You know, that's the dance where everybody kicks up their feet and all the rest of it. It was actually invented by the Irish, and it's an Irish man with 11 kids and one toilet. Went over the top of your head. Everybody busting to go to the toilet at the same time. Well, it made me laugh. Anyway, take care of yourselves, and hopefully I'll come up with a better video next time. You take care. Bye for now.